Okay, let us now start the session, guys. Okay. Okay.
استاذ بس حسن
Yes.
امبارح انت ما نزلته على الاي سكول لغايه مفتش عليا ما لقيته.
Bella, I sent a message, dear. I sent a message and I attached the file. Your friends say that they got it, right? You all received it.
Yes.
Okay, so then,
انا ما وصلت يا استاذ.
okay,
بس
don't worry.
انه
Then
امبارح استاذ
anyone can
واخد
send it
ستيك.
back to you. Don't worry. All right, guys. So our period today shall discuss thematic relations. Let me open the PowerPoint and start. Okay. So, first of all, Mr. This should be skill number 3, right?
Yes.
Okay, good, Mariam. So when I send this PowerPoint today, this should be copied, on your copybooks on the skill section as skill number 3, thematic relations and cohesive devices. So you copy it on your copybooks on the skills as, skill number 3, divided into A and B. Thematic relations A and link or cohesive devices B. So let's start. Okay. Hala, can you start reading, please?
Okay. A thematic relation is a relation that deals with what's common between two paragraphs. It stands for how ideas are being discussed or presented. To identify it, you have to focus on content as well as the presence of certain tools called cohesive devices, yani links, that help you determine the type of relations. These are 5 types of thematic relations.
Okay, so dear, before we talk about the 5 types of thematic relations, let's go back to the definition. A thematic relation, first of all, when I say, guys, thematic relation, from the name of the skill, we go to the theme. And the theme means the content, right? Or the ideas, or what the paragraph is simply talking about. So the thematic relation, first of all, it's a relation that is strictly related to 2 paragraphs. So I will not ask you what is the thematic relation between more than 2 paragraphs. It doesn't work. So a thematic relation always covers the relation between 2 paragraphs as in the theme, their content, what they talk about. So it stands for how ideas are being discussed. And of course, Mr., sometimes to identify the thematic relation, we have some devices or tools, okay, that help us determine the type. Okay, we have 5 basic types of thematic relations. Who can remind us before I show you? Yes? If you still remember.
Idea support.
Compare, contrast.
Compare, contrast. 2.
Problem solution.
Yes. 3.
cause effect.
4.
Ideation.
And question answer.
Problem solution.
So, excellent. So guys, we have 5 types of thematic relations: cause effect, problem solution, statement or idea, additional reinforcement. So instead of saying idea support, we say idea additional reinforcement, because the support comes as additional reinforcement, okay? Technically speaking, it's called additional reinforcement. And then we have comparison contrast or compare contrast, and then finally question answer. Now, let me explain, guys. In the thematic relations, there is no way for the paragraphs to be opposite in the relations. For example, I cannot say that the thematic relation between, for example, paragraphs 5 and 6 is cause effect if paragraph 5 contains the effects before the causes. So can this order inside the types be flipped or reversed? Never. It doesn't work. Okay? This is something you should know. which means that the order is the same. So the first paragraph contains the causes and the other one the effects, problem and then solution. One paragraph contains a certain idea or statement, and the other one is additional reinforcement. It's like a support. How does the second paragraph support the first one? It supports it through life examples, through more details, through giving us facts, statistics, studies. Compare contrast. It happens when a certain paragraph is talking about similarities, and then the other one starts with a tool of contrast, however, on the other hand, and then he goes to the other side. Question answer comes when a certain paragraph ends with a question and the second one starts the answer. Fine? Is everything clear so far?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes, Ustaz.
Okay. Now, let's go to part B. The cohesive devices. The cohesive devices are the same as you take, guys, in Arabic. You always have a question in Arabic in these tools. What is the function? Okay. أدوات الربط, right? It's the same. What is the function? So when we say cohesive devices, we don't talk about content or ideas anymore. We go to tools, pure tools. Okay. So, yes, let me say, who wants to read? Yalla, Naib. Naib?
Okay, Ustaz.
Between boys and girls, yes.
As for cohesive device, they are tools that link both paragraphs. There are two types of cohesive devices, direct and indirect. Direct ones include transitions, in addition, moreover, however, etc., and coordinate conjunctions, fanboys. Indirect ones include pronouns, reference, demonstrative,
yes.
Demonstrative adjectives, this, that, these, those, repetition of keywords using synonyms.
Okay, now let me explain thoroughly. So we said that cohesive devices are tools. Now, before we talk about the two types, in order to determine the thematic relation, we have to read both paragraphs to see the ideas or to see the content and then decide how these two paragraphs are similar with the content. However, when we talk about the link or cohesion, or cohesive devices, whatever the name, we don't have to read thoroughly. We only have to look at how the second paragraph begins. For example, if I want to ask you about the cohesive devices between paragraphs, let's say paragraphs 5 and 7, I look at the beginning of paragraph 7. How it begins, what's the tool, then I decide. We have two types of cohesion, direct and indirect. If the second paragraph begins with any type of transitions, which I'll remind you later with the types, in addition, moreover, however, on the other hand, it's direct. Also, if it starts with a coordinate conjunction or fanboys, for, and, but, or, yet, so, it's also direct. If the second paragraph begins with a pronoun, they, he, we, or a demonstrative pronoun or adjective, this, that, these, those, then it's indirect. Let's say I went to the beginning of the second paragraph and it doesn't have any tool. Then it's indirect. I have now two only possibilities. Either the same keyword is repeated. For example, in the first paragraph, I have the word poverty. Then in the second paragraph, it's repeated. Poverty is, poverty kaza. Or using synonyms or meanings. In the first paragraph, for example, I use the word teenagers, and in the second paragraph, I use the word adolescents. Okay? So, in order to determine the cohesion or cohesive devices, I look at the beginning of the second paragraph, and I see, is there any tool? If not, then it is surely indirect. We have 4 methods. It's either indirect by repeating a keyword or using synonyms. Fine? Is there anything you didn't understand?
أستاذ بالنسبة للإندايركت أنا ما فهمت كتير.
Okay. We have 4 tools, 2 direct and 2 indirect, right? In the direct, we have 2 tools, either a transition or a coordinate conjunction, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In the indirect, guys, we have 4 ways. The first 2 ways are tools. It either starts with a pronoun or a demonstrative adjective, this, that, these, those. But let's say that the second paragraph doesn't begin with any of these. Then surely the cohesion is indirect, but we have only 2 possibilities. A keyword is repeated or a synonym is used. Instead of saying, as I said, schools, I say educational institutes. Instead of saying teens, I say adolescents. This is synonyms. Fine?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Yes, girls, is everything clear?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good. Now, we have a sample question answer, which, you know,
Yes.
you also need to copy, you know, as an example. Yes, any question?
أستاذ بالنسبة لهذا البي اف بدك تبعته على الإسكول صح؟
Of course. I'll send it on eSchool, sure.
ماشي.
Okay. Okay, now, yes, from the girls, who wants to read? Razan, let's say.
اوكي ايوه
Yes.
يلا
Yes.
نعمل
let's
الدو.
read the question and then let's go into the paragraphs. Yes.
What is the thematic relation between paragraphs 4 and 6? What cohesive devices does the writer use? Justify your answer.
Okay, this is how I ask you, but before we continue, I need to tell you something very, very important. These 2 questions don't come together anymore. It means that I ask you nowadays either a thematic relation alone or cohesive devices alone. They don't come together anymore. Fine? So if I ask you, for example, the thematic relation only, don't continue the answer with the cohesion. Fine?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Razan.
Okay.
Maine is believed to be the first state with such a law, but the issue has captured attention around US as police departments, domestic violence programs, animal protection, and state officials become increasingly aware of a link between domestic violence and animal abuse.
Okay, what about 6?
A new program in Columbus has been recently
Legislated, yes.
legislated. It places animals of victims of domestic violence in a prison, where the inmates care for them. In other words, the city gives pets and finds home for them.
Okay. So in your opinion, first of all, let's go step by step. Paragraph 4, what does it talk about? Yes?
إنه مين هي أول state with law ما في غيره.
So this law is related to what? What does it relate to?
Animal abuse and violence.
Excellent. So
US.
there is a law in Maine against against animal abuse, which is caused by domestic violence. First of all, guys, domestic violence, the word domestic means inside the house. This is something you should know. The word domestic means inside the house, local. Okay? So paragraph 4 is saying that there is a law, okay, in Maine as one of the states of inside the US, simply because there has been an increasing, incidence of animals being abused, and this has become part of domestic violence. So domestic violence is not only about a husband hitting his wife, hitting his sons, or being, violent against, a certain person inside the house, which might be even a maid. Animal abuse has also been labeled or considered part of domestic violence. Okay, this is in paragraph 4. Paragraph 6, what is it saying, Hala? What is it holding, Hala, Mariam?
Yes.
Yes. What is it saying?
It's talking about the new program in Columbus
Yes.
that it's giving the inmates in prison pets for them to care for instead of throwing them on the streets.
By the way, inmates, the word
Yes.
inmates, it stands for prisoners. So
Mm.
inmates are prisoners, okay, or criminals if you want. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Paragraph 4 is stating a certain, problem increasing, and paragraph 6 is saying that a new program has been legislated, and those who are doing the problem, those who are doing the crime of animal abuse, they are thrown in prison for being, violent against animals. And after throwing them in prison, they bring pets and they force them to take care of the pets. Okay, as punishment. Fine? All right?
Yes, fine.
Yes.
Okay. So,
Yes, it says.
yes. So what is the thematic relation, guys? What do you think the thematic relation?
Idea reinforcement.
Idea reinforcement. What else?
Maybe question answer, maybe.
Do you see a question at the end of paragraph 4? Where is the question here? There is no question, Shabaita. Okay, what else? Yes?
Addition, addition.
Addition, reinforcement. Okay, what else?
Comparison.
Comparison. Because you have Maine and Columbus, maybe?
Yes.
Okay, okay, good. طيب, what else? Okay. Now, the thematic relation, some people said it's addition reinforcement. Some people said it's compare contrast. Okay. This is the thematic relation. We will see, of course, the answer and discuss it thoroughly. Now, let's go to the cohesive devices. When we want to determine cohesion or cohesive devices, I look at the beginning of the second paragraph. So let's look at the beginning of paragraph 6. Do you see a transition?
Yes, بلش موضوع جديد إنه فكرة جديدة.
Yes,
a new
Razan.
program in column.
I am talking about now the cohesion, dear. In the cohesive devices, paragraph 6, does it begin with a transition? However,
لا ما في transition.
Okay,
No.
there is no transition. Do you see one of the fanboys and but or yet?
No.
No.
ما في.
So the cohesion here is not direct, right? It's not direct.
Yes.
Good. It's not direct, which means that it's indirect. So the first step is that cohesion here is indirect, simply, right?
Yes.
Okay, it's indirect. Do you see at the beginning of paragraph 6, do you see a pronoun, he, she?
No.
No.
Okay. Do you see a demonstrative pronoun or adjective, this, that, these, those?
No.
Good. Then it's indirect, and we still have two possibilities, either using a synonym or repeating the keyword. What
There's
is
a
the keyword in
word.
paragraph 4? What is it talking about?
Programs.
Programs. What else?
About the animal protection.
Animals. What else?
Domestic violence.
Excellent. So both paragraphs, the writer uses indirect cohesive device by repeating the keyword domestic violence, pets, etc. Fine? Okay, this is the cohesion. Now, the thematic relation, let's see the answer. Okay, who wants to read?
Me,
Mariam?
Ustaz.
Can I read?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes, Mariam.
Okay. A thematic relation between paragraphs 4 and 6 is a problem solution. In the first paragraph, the writer-author presents the problem of abusing pets as part of domestic violence. In paragraph 2, he mentions some effective steps taken to address the problem through a program that forces abusers to take care of pets while being in prison. The writer uses indirect cohesive device by repeating the keyword domestic violence.
You see? So, guys, the thematic relation here is simply problem solution. How do we answer? How do we answer? First of all, we start with the type of the thematic relation itself. We start with the type. Why? If I ask you this question in the exam, and let's say this question is graded as 1 point, half the grade is for the type. If the type is correct, you directly take half a point, half a grade. So how do we answer? We always start with the type. Fine? So the thematic relation is problem solution. Now we start with the what? Justification, because he told us to justify our answers. How do we justify? We go into what's happening. In the first paragraph, the writer or author presents the problem of abusing pets. طبعا in the first paragraph, which is paragraph 4, I will edit now. And in paragraph 6, he mentions some effective steps, which is, forcing abusers to take care of pets while being in prison. So you are now in prison, and I bring you a pet to take care of as punishment. Okay. The writer uses indirect cohesive device by repeating the keyword domestic violence. Remember, guys, if I ask you only thematic relation, don't continue by saying the cohesion. And I may ask you about the cohesion alone, by the way. So I may ask you them separately. Fine?
Fine.
Yes, Ustaz.
Okay. So let me here edit. Here we have in paragraph 4, and here we have in paragraph 6. Okay, save. All right. So is everything clear so far with this skill?
Yes.
Okay. Fine, thank you. Okay, good. Now I will open a certain file and orally discuss the answers about cohesion, etc. Okay? All right. So let's go to a certain exam. Let's see. Okay. Okay, let's see any sample. All right.
استاذ الفاينل بتاع الكونكلوجن انت مين بعته؟
I send it as Word document on eSchool.
باللايبراري صح؟
As a normal message, dear. Okay. The final step, guys, of today's period will be orally discussing question number 3. Okay, question number 3. Identify the cohesive device between paragraphs 3 and 4 alone, and between paragraphs 6 and 7 also alone. Fine?
Okay.
Okay, so let's first go to 3 and 4. Okay. If I want to go into the cohesive devices, this is 3 and 4. I look at the beginning of 3, right? At the beginning of 4, I'm sorry. Let's go to the beginning of paragraph 4. How does it start?
One of those is listing.
One of those. One of those is a dentist. Okay, so one of those is a dentist. Let's go to 6 and 7. How does paragraph 7 begin with?
Moreover.
So paragraph 7, 6 and 7, what is the cohesion between 6 and 7? It's what? It's direct. So we say the writer uses direct cohesive device between 6 and 7 by using the transition what?
Moreover.
Moreover. This is how we answer the cohesion. As for 3 and 4, here I have one of those. So it's indirect. We don't have a transition, no fanboy, which means that there is a certain keyword maybe which is repeated. Okay? Maybe a keyword which is repeated, or maybe a pronoun reference. When you say, for example, one of those.
It's a pronoun reference.
Yes, it's a pronoun reference because when you say one of those refers to whom? If we go to paragraph 3, one of those is a dentist. It means one of those what? People, right?
Right.
So those refers to who? To displaced people. So here, the cohesion between 3 and 4 is indirect, but between 6 and 7 is direct. Okay?
Yes.
I'll show you the answer key before we stop recording. Okay, let's go to the answer key. You see, paragraphs 3 and 4 are linked with pronoun reference, displaced people, and one of those. This is how you answer. Clear?
Yes.
Okay, 6 and 7 are linked with the transition moreover. You see, this is simply how you should answer. So you should say that these paragraphs are linked directly or indirectly, okay, through the tool, and or it's direct and you have to mention the tool. So if I ask a cohesion, simply the answer is, one sentence, not more, okay?